So, why would I tweet? Why would I title this stream? Why external social media marketing is dying? What's up, Elisa? External social media marketing is dying. And I've been saying this for years. I've been saying this since long before Periscope was a thing. I've been saying this for years and years, before Team Strub, before I took a road trip this year to 50 states in 100 days, volunteered with a different youth organization in each state, before I took a road trip last summer to 48 states in 90 days, which many of you guys still don't know about, 48 states in 90 days. You can read about that at teamstrub.com as well. Yes, SMM is social media management, right? So social media management is a thing of the past. Social media management being outsourced, social media management being something that's done by an outside company is BS. It just doesn't work anymore. It doesn't function as a thing. And I mentioned 4 awesome people in the title of this stream, and all 4 of them are onto the same idea. All 4 of them agree with this in some different capacity and fashion. I'm going to bring all 4 of them together here in the next couple minutes. So the first guy I would mention is Gary Vee, because everyone knows Gary Vee, right? And when you listen to Gary Vee talk, one of the big things that he always says about talent acquisition and about growing your business is that no one appreciates and no one understands your business the way that you do. No one understands and no one is going to love and really have the excitement and the energy about your brand that you do. What's up, pop culture? So if you're Gary Vaynerchuk, you're up on stage and people are asking you, well, oh, how do I attract talent? How do I get people to want to work for me? You know, I need people that love my business as much as I do. It's not going to happen. Okay, your business as the CEO, the executive director, whatever it is, you're in charge. The brand and the message belongs to you, right? So there's one, right? And then you move on to Vincenzo Landino. Right? And what makes Vincenzo Landino so great at what he does with 52 Creative, Keith, thank you, man, I appreciate it. What makes Vincenzo Landino so great at what he does is that he is super freaking conversational. He's super down to earth, and he has this fantastic base of knowledge, and he understands how all this stuff works. But what Vincenzo Landino will always do is have a conversation with you. That's why he loves Blab so much, at least in my mind. I don't want to speak for him, but that's why he's so comfortable on Blab, is that you can fire any question at him and he'll have an answer for you. And not just an answer, but he wants to learn from you as well. You know, so when, and I don't work with 52 Creative in any way, but for me, social media management with Vincenzo Landino is going to be much more of a mindset of the idea that you need to want to share your story, that you need to understand that people want to know your story, but they also want to be part of your story. You know, people want to, that's funny, Keith, people want to be there. They want to understand what's going on. They want to recognize what's happening. You know, you talk about Chocolate Johnny. Right? And you look at what Chocolate Johnny is doing at Perfection Chocolates in Australia. And before my trips, before 50 states in 100 days, before 48 states in 90 days, I actually did social media management. And I worked with a chocolatier. Okay? And this chocolatier was very hesitant to get its story out there because they were very protective of their message and of their brand, and I get it. They've been around for 100 years. It's a very special chocolate company. But what Chocolate Johnny is doing is the model that I preached and I pushed for years. And it's perfect. A chocolate company. All you want to do is take pictures and be on Instagram and Snapchat. And of course, now over the last couple of years, now we have live streaming that people want to come on. They want to be part of the story. You know, they want to be there and they want to be a part of it. You know, and this isn't something that you can do. This isn't a story that you can tell from the outside. What's up, Simon Iggy? This is not a story that any company, that anyone that you hire is going to be able to do better than you can. You know, so when you're Brian Fanzo, you know, and you're representing Applebee's on stage, SMM is social media management, right? So you're there, you're telling the story, you're part of the brand, right? The days of collecting stock photos and putting captions on there are dead. It's just not enough. It doesn't do it. It doesn't cut it. It doesn't make me believe in what you're doing. What's up, Tova? Hi. It's great to see you. So I'm just talking about 4 of my favorite dudes out there. Gary Vaynerchuk, Brian Fanzo, Chocolate Johnny, and Vincenzo Landino. And how all 4 of these guys, their ideas, I know I haven't seen you in forever either. All 4 of these guys, their ideas come together and bring me to this conclusion. Slinger looks pretty cool. What is your goal with that platform? Thanks for bringing me off track. I really appreciate that. It's to put up content from my trip, 50 states in 100 days, that you can watch some of the videos that I took on Snapchat throughout the summer. Brian Fanzo, Gary Vaynerchuk, Vincenzo Landino, and Chocolate Johnny, all 4 of those guys will all push you in the same direction. And that conclusion is this. And there's Chocolate Johnny right there. Okay? All 4 of those guys, Brian Fanzo, Chocolate Johnny, Gary Vaynerchuk, Vincenzo Landino, they will all each in their own way push you in the same direction, which is this, that if you're not thinking about how your message is being told from the very top, if you're not there and considering that idea from the root of the issue, the very, very top, if you just think that you can have a social media manager or an intern or some kid straight out of college there to tell your story, it doesn't work. It's not going to work. You have to buy in 100%. You have to buy in 100%. You have to allow your audience to be part of your story. You need to be interactive and engaging and be able to listen to what's going on and allow your customers and your audience to be a part of the story from the top right on down. And now we get the Chocolate Johnny bump. I love this. This is so fantastic. Welcome to all you guys. Thank you so much for joining. What I've been talking about, guys, there's Lisa Sansucci. Hello. What's going on, everybody? My name's ChrisStrub. This summer I traveled around the country, 50 states in 100 days, and I volunteered with a different youth organization in each state. And I'm so glad that you guys are all here now. This is fantastic. I'm very excited to meet many of you at Periscope Summit, at Summit Live. Next week, how wild is that? I'm going to be shoulder to shoulder with Chocolate Johnny. Like, there's me, there's Chocolate Johnny. How crazy is that? But we're not even talking about Periscope Summit right now. So soon, I know. I am so pumped to meet you. Lisa, I think I watched you scope for the first time the other day. Fantastic. So cool. And Victoria's here. Hi. So let me make my point one more time. We'll go through it now that I got the Chocolate Johnny bump. Okay? Social media management from an external perspective is done. Is done. Awesome from another Aussie. Can't wait to see you all. I know it's going to be great. Social media management from an external perspective is toast. Okay? So I'll run through it one more time. Gary Vaynerchuk, when you hear him talk about your passion for your business and people ask him, how do I get people to want to work for me? Or how do I get people even to want to buy my product? You have to remember that as the boss, as the CEO, as the executive director, am I packing yet? No. As the boss, the CEO, the executive director, you have more passion. It's your company. All your stake is in there. So why would you ever want anybody else? I'm so sorry, Chris, I disagree, but interested to hear your perspective. Great. As the CEO, the executive director, how could you think about hiring somebody else to tell your story? And Victoria, I don't want to, I'm not trying to step on any lines here. But here's what I'm getting at. I think as an organization, social media needs to be totally intrinsic and internalized to what you do as an organization. Bye, Tova. So intrinsic to what you do as an organization that your social media director, if he's not sitting right next to you or she's not sitting right next to you in the boardroom, if she's not there with the boss at all times, totally tuned into what's going on and vice versa, then that social media director needs to be the CEO, him or herself. I want you to take a look and look at and consider what Chocolate Johnny is doing with Perfection Chocolates. And look at how successful that business has become, not just from a social media perspective, But I'm here in Watertown, New York. I'm 80 trillion miles away. It's another day. I mean, I think it's Tuesday in Australia already. And I'm here telling you about Perfection Chocolates, which is by no means this enormous conglomerate. You know, by no means is this an enormous conglomerate. You know, it's this little shop, but it's run by the nicest, most genuine, kindest guy who's there to involve his audience and all of those customers and all of those stakeholders in his story. You watch him on Snapchat, and I just followed at Perfection Chocolates, or what is it? Johnny, put it in the comments there. I think it's Perf Chocolates on Twitter, and he's got a Snapchat video up there. And on the window of his business, he's got his Instagram, you know, the account there, and then he's got his Snapchat logo taped right to the window. Because all of that social media marketing comes right from the heart. It comes right from the business itself. So many people are amazing at managing their own, but others do need help. Yes, of course. Of course they all need help. But Victoria, here's my point, right? Here's my point. To get to what the Vincenzo Landino perspective of it, right? And the Brian Fanzo, the iSocial fans, who I also tagged in this scope for a reason, right? Is that for me, social media management is a philosophy. Social media management is an idea. Social media needs to be, in 2016, it needs to be totally part of what your organization does at all times. And so if it's not internalized, if it's not part of your company, it needs to be right there alongside with you. So for me, it's very, very difficult to consider hiring someone when I really feel like instead of someone managing 8 or 10 or 15 different accounts, and I know this is difficult. I know that this is not something that everyone agrees with, right? I know, I understand. I get it. I get it. I totally get it. Because 2 years ago when I worked at Ad Elements in Binghamton, who I have 3% left, so this scope is going to have to end soon. When I worked at Ad Elements in Binghamton, that was my job, was to manage social media for as many different organizations as I could, right? Spinning plates, blah, 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 blah. Many of you know what that's like. Spin as many plates as you can, right? And just keep them going, keep them going, keep them going. I left that job because I didn't believe that I could accurately tell the story of everything that was going on at all those different places. I truly and honestly, it's very hard work, and I have all the appreciation and all the love in the world for social media managers because of it. It's literally an impossible job. I think it's literally an impossible job. I think the bubble will burst, and I think that the Victoria Taylors and the Vincenzo Landinos and the Brian Fanzos of the world that are all out there that are working so hard to manage social media for so many different companies. I did it too and burnt out. Exactly. So did I. All of these great, wonderful, talented people that are managing social media for so many different companies are going to reach a point in 2016 as live streaming and things become internalized, that there will be more positions created. And I'm not trying to crush the industry. Don't get me wrong. I think this is the evolution of the industry. I think this is the evolution of the industry, that someone who is a social media manager is gaining so much more responsibility and so much more importance to that organization, that organization, whatever your favorite client is, Victoria Taylor, or whoever your favorite client is, Sarah Moore, or whoever else is watching this on replay, that company needs to hire you to be there in the boardroom, sitting next to the executive director, or to even be the executive director himself or herself. And I mean that when I say that. That in 2016, if social media is not totally intrinsic to what you're doing as a business, you will start to crumble and you will fail. And if you're selling chocolates and you don't have your Snapchat logo on your window, and you're not working your ass off like Chocolate Johnny does every single day to include your customers and to include those stakeholders in what you're doing, you will eventually fail. And the winners will be the Chocolate Johnnies of the world. The winners will be those who adapt and who grow and who recognize how important all of this is at the core of the business, and not just a part of what you're doing, but at the very, very core. That it needs to be there in the room with the executive director and be a huge part of it. This is no longer a joke. This is where businesses need to go. Gary Vaynerchuk, Vincenzo Landino, Brian Fanzo, and Chocolate Johnny. I'll talk to you tomorrow. 1 p.m. I'm doing a special scope. It's going to be shared by Periscope Summit. I want you to be here. I'm doing a lot of planning. It's love to see you guys. Lovely to see you guys. Make sure you follow Chocolate Johnny. And someone, hire Victoria Taylor to get in the boardroom. Be there with the executive director. Or maybe be the executive director. Buy my book at teamstrub.com, 50 states, 100 days, 60 youth organizations.